The world's population is shifting in three shocking ways, and they'll reshape the next decade. But first, what actually counts as a population shift? It's not just about people moving. It's a sudden, large-scale change in where people live. Think of it as a massive human migration happening across cities, over borders, or within entire countries. These aren't slow, predictable trends. They're rapid movements that can redefine a region's economy, culture, and future in just a few short years. They're the kind of changes that redraw maps and rewrite history books. Our first major shift is the Great COVID Urban Exodus. Between 2020 and 2022, an unprecedented number of people packed their bags and left major global cities like New York, London, and San Francisco. This wasn't a trickle. It was a flood. Remote work didn't just change our offices, it fundamentally moved where people called home. As millions logged in from their living rooms, they realized that home could be anywhere. We saw dense urban centers shrink while the suburbs and smaller towns around them exploded. Arrows on a map would show a clear flow from the city core to the surrounding commuter belts and even further afield into rural areas. This migration sent rental and housing prices in these once sleepy suburbs skyrocketing. Suddenly, the quiet town an hour away from the metropolis became a hot real estate market. The key takeaway here isn't that cities died, far from it. But their gravity weakened and their growth was pushed outward, transforming the very idea of what a city is. Next, we turn to the largest and fastest human displacement in Europe since the Second World War. Ukraine's wartime refugee crisis. Since the full-scale invasion in early 2022, millions of Ukrainians, primarily women and children, fled their homes, crossing borders into neighboring countries like Poland, Germany, and the Czech Republic. This wasn't a choice. It was a necessity driven by conflict. Maps of Eastern Europe from this period show a massive, bright wave of humanity flowing west. In a matter of weeks, the populations of cities and towns across the continent swelled. This incredible influx of people created immense challenges, but also opportunities. Schools had to adapt to new students. Labor markets saw a surge of skilled workers, and social services were stretched to their limits. The long-term demographic and cultural landscape of Europe was altered almost overnight. This shift wasn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It was about human lives reshaping the fabric of a continent. Our third and final shift is happening in the world's most populous nation, or rather, its former most populous nation. China is experiencing a sudden and dramatic demographic pivot. For the first time in decades, its population is officially shrinking. The number of deaths has surpassed the number of births, signaling a profound long-term decline. But here's the surprising part. While the country as a whole is shrinking, its megacities, like Shanghai and Beijing, are still growing. Millions are leaving rural provinces and pouring into these massive urban hubs in search of opportunity. So you have this strange paradox. Fewer people overall, but more of them concentrated in a handful of giant cities. This creates a future where China's cities continue to glitter and expand, while the nation as a whole rapidly ages and empties out. It's a demographic time bomb that will challenge China's economic model for decades to come. So why do these three shifts, the urban exodus, the Ukrainian displacement, and China's demographic pivot, matter so much? Because where people live determines everything. These movements will dictate the future of our housing markets, our job landscapes, and even global geopolitics. Power follows people. As populations move, so does influence, wealth, and the very center of human activity. The big question now is, where will people move next? Subscribe for more daily geography explainers.